You know that feeling, right? You walk into a store for just one thing, and somehow you walk out with a full cart. Well, it turns out it's not just a lack of willpower. It's all about psychology. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible forces that are secretly shaping every single purchase you make.
45 minutes. That's the average amount of time you spend in a supermarket on a typical trip. Now, that might not sound like a lot of time, right? But for marketers, it is a golden opportunity. And what happens in that little window? Well, that's what this is all about. In that time, you're making dozens, maybe even hundreds of tiny decisions. You're choosing between brands, you're comparing prices, deciding what actually goes into your cart. But here's the kicker. A huge chunk of those choices, they're made on autopilot. We're talking fast, unconscious, almost without any real deliberate thought. So that begs a really big question, doesn't it? If you're not consciously making all these decisions, who is? Or maybe what is? Well, the answer lies in this constant, hidden conversation that's always happening inside your own brain.
All right, so to really get what's going on here, we need to meet the two main players in this little drama. You've got your thinking brain and you've got your feeling brain. Think of them as two totally different but totally interconnected systems that are always pulling and pushing on each other. Now, psychologists have some fancy terms for these: affect and cognition. Affect, that's just your entire emotional world. It's your gut feelings, your moods, those instant reactions you have. And then there's cognition. That's your thinking machine, all your thoughts, your beliefs, your logical step-by-step analysis. And this is where it gets really interesting, because these two systems are like night and day. Your affect system, your feeling brain, it's fast, it's emotional, it's totally automatic. It's that gut punch, you know? You literally feel it in your body. But cognition, your thinking brain, it's the complete opposite. It's slow, it's rational, deliberate. It's all happening up here, carefully weighing the pros and cons. And don't think this feeling system is just for big, dramatic emotions like fear or anger. No, it's a whole spectrum. It runs all the way from those huge feelings down to the teeniest, most subtle preferences. It's that tiny little nudge that makes you grab one brand of toothpaste over the other without even really knowing why you did it. Okay, so you've got these two systems inside you, constantly battling it out to influence your choices. But here's the thing, you're not the only one who knows they're there. An entire industry, a massive one, has been built around understanding and, manipulating this internal conversation. Welcome, my friends, to the Marketer's Playbook. I mean, these folks have built their entire industry on understanding this tug of war between your thinking and feeling brain. They know exactly how to whisper to each system, and they have this incredibly sophisticated playbook designed to guide your choices, a lot of the time without you even noticing. And this isn't some new thing. This has been going on for well over a century. Just look at a company like Procter & Gamble. Back in 1882, they were making simple print claims for Ivory soap. Pretty straightforward. But then you fast forward to the 1930s, and they literally invent the soap opera just to weave their products into our daily lives. From there, it was TV characters in the 70s that were more famous than politicians, all the way to the hyper-targeted ads that follow you around on your phone today. The tech has changed for sure, but the goal? It's always been the same: grab your attention. So, what's the first move in this playbook? It's almost always to go right around your slow, rational brain. They hit you with what are called prominent stimuli. Think bright colors on the packaging, a super catchy jingle in an ad, or that incredible smell of freshly baked bread that just hits you when you walk into the supermarket. All of it is designed to trigger your fast, automatic feeling system. But look, just grabbing your attention, that's entry-level stuff. The true masters of marketing, they do something way more sophisticated. They don't just sell you a product, they sell you a feeling. They sell you a better version of yourself. The secret technique for this has a technical name, a means end chain. But let's just call it a value ladder. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful way to connect some boring product feature to your deepest, most personal values. So here's how this ladder works. It starts on the bottom rung with a concrete product feature, an attribute. Let's say 5 blades on a razor. Okay, simple enough. That feature leads to a consequence, in this case, a really smooth shave that, makes you feel more confident. But they don't stop there. They climb to the top rung, connecting that feeling of confidence to a deep personal value, the universal desire to feel attractive, to feel successful. And that right there is the whole game. We don't just buy things for what they are, we buy them for what they do for us. We buy them because we believe they'll help us achieve our goals, satisfy our needs, and ultimately become the people we really want to be. Now, when a company truly masters this value ladder, something pretty magical happens. They stop just selling you stuff, they start building an attitude. They create this powerful, positive emotional connection with you. And you know who is maybe the all-time greatest master of this? Nike. This powerful, positive feeling is what the marketing world calls brand equity. For the company, sure, it means bigger profits and more market share. But for you, the consumer, it's that rock-solid, positive feeling you have for a brand. And it's built, brick, by connecting that brand to your personal values. And boy, do the results speak for themselves. By building this positive attitude, year after year, Nike achieved just staggering market dominance. By the late 90s, they had a whopping 40% of the entire athletic shoe market. They just left their competitors choking on their dust. So how on earth did they do it? Well, their secret is pretty simple, actually. Nike's ads almost never talked about the shoes themselves. Instead, they sold an idea. They sold the spirit of sport. They sold effort, they sold achievement, and they sold that deep, personal satisfaction you get from pushing yourself to the absolute limit. Let's put this right on their value ladder. The attribute? Air Jordan technology in the shoe. The consequence? You get better performance on the court, and maybe you feel a little bit like the legend Michael Jordan. And the ultimate value at the top of that ladder? Pure achievement, victory, competitiveness. See, Nike was never selling shoes. They were selling you the feeling of your own greatness. All right, so we've pulled back the curtain on the hidden psychology and we've peeked inside the marketer's playbook. So what? What does this all mean for you the next time you're scrolling online or walking down a store aisle? How do you actually become a more conscious consumer? Well, the very first step is just being aware. It's understanding that your choices are never, ever random. Every single decision you make is a result of that invisible conversation we've been talking about. That back and forth between your fast, emotional affect system and your slow, logical cognition system. Think of it like a constant tug of war between your gut feeling and your rational brain. And look, neither one is bad or wrong, but just knowing that the playbook exists, that lets you decide who's in the driver's seat. It gives you the power to stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, is this something I actually need, or is this just a really clever ad appealing to my emotions? So here's the one thing to take away from all of this. The next time you find yourself reaching for something on a shelf or clicking adds a card, just pause, just for a second, and ask yourself one simple question. Am I thinking this or am I feeling this? I promise you, the answer might just surprise you.